Hey collective, welcome to angel number 315. Coming at you live from the chariot, all right, with another one. Let's see. Feel good out here today. Hope everybody is doing well. Listen, fam, I wanted to talk to y'all about something that's not talked about enough. I think today we're going to talk about self. We're going to talk about basically ego, which is who you are, right? It talks about also your goals, your relationships, your feelings. We have this Cancer energy, and it's quite interesting because Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, and that came out. So we have other signs. We have Capricorn, Libra, all right? But this could resonate for anybody. Just check those placements in your charts. Anywho, we have peeping. As you can see, there's no privacy. Somebody is peeping in on someone's life. Let's just say that. So it says, maintain a facade and guard your privacy with care. Keeping secrets might protect you for a while, but they won't last. Here, I don't know, in a situation, there's someone maybe that is concerned about the affairs of other people. Somebody could be also getting some sort of readings done, obtaining some sort of information about another person or other people. I don't know if this is how someone operates on a daily basis, but if so, it definitely needs to be corrected. All right, because there's a fine line between being unethical and ethical in the spiritual community. And it's very necessary to uphold that integrity behind closed doors, because you don't want to just cross the lines, get comfortable with doing things like that, right? And you just wouldn't want nobody interrupting your privacy, right? So you want to make sure you give people the same respect. But for some reason, there's a need to have these conversations. This is why Spirit is bringing this up. Here we got comparison. So someone is definitely in your energy of comparing themselves. And that is the quickest way to actually fall. That's the quickest way. So it says, focus on your own path and stop seeking validation from external sources. Comparison with others distracts you from your own path, and inequality in resources creates tension. So this is given maybe somebody in your energy, let's say, gets readings on you because they want to know what's going on in your life. What do you have coming towards you? Even for some people, are you doing better than them, or are they doing better than you? Right? So the reason why I'm telling people to keep that respect, that boundary, and stay within those parameters to maintain spiritual integrity is because when people get to comparing themselves to other people, then you start falling into the downward spiral of, now I have to compete with this person. Now they giving me some shit to have to look forward to, and I hate them because now this puts a lot of pressure on me. It don't have to be a lot of pressure, honey. It really don't. And please do yourself and all of us a favor. That's the chariot. Do yourself and all of us the favor and not put that kind of strain and stress on yourself. Trust me, believe it or not, there's people around you, even when you don't say anything, they can definitely tell, right, that you're under a lot of stress, right? And it don't matter what you say. Somebody could ask you how your day going, and it don't matter what kind of response you give, because people can pick up on those types of things, right? So there's just a strong feeling of focusing on self here in these situations. We also have successful, but it came out in reverse. So this is what it says, because there's two messages on one card, and it's either you get it in the upright or the reverse. So this is in the reverse, and it's saying, when I'm with you, I feel complete. I realize that you, not material things, are what truly matters in my life. That's deep. And to me, this sounds like a message coming from a person who always put material things over a particular person, even though they care about that person. These situations are difficult is because oftentimes a person don't just come to you and tell you how they feel. So you would often feel like people don't care. And depending on what your actions are, a person would never know unless you literally showed them or told them. We also have puppet here. in reverse. So I don't care what it takes, how long it takes, who I upset. I'm cutting the strings and taking my life back. And that sounds like it's coming from a person who knows that they need to make some changes about themselves in their life, and they're on their way to making those changes. They just don't quite know where to start, right? So I was just sitting here with Spirit and asking myself some questions. What's going on in the collective, right? Why does a particular collective feel that it's necessary to constantly look up another person? Because I remember when I started my spiritual journey, and a lot of people will argue this up and down, people who are nosy, right? And try to make it seem like that I have to sell ass or do something drastic in order to get somewhere in a spiritual community, which that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I can see other kinds of communities, and even then, I've never been that person. So I don't really understand that mindset. But looking at things from a more spiritual perspective, it makes sense. It doesn't really make logical sense, but it makes sense because in my human mind, I'm looking at the person that we're talking about, right? And I'm making my own analysis based off of who I know that person to be. So if a person is thinking a certain kind of way and their actions have shown me X, Y, and Z, then in my mind, I see why they did that, because this is how this person acts. But that does not mean that it's excused. That's not an excuse. So let's just see what's going on in a collective, right? So what is this energy of collective that is stuck and stagnant and needs to be addressed, Spirit? Let's see what's going on here. So we have Rising Star, Commitment, Starseed, and then one more, already 9 minutes in, Abundance. When we split the deck, we have Real Love, and then at the bottom of the deck is Rich Guy. So I have a feeling that this is the King of Pentacles only. This could be a situation where this person really doesn't have maybe the stability part aspect is not there. Maybe somebody has been concerned about stability and this has caused an issue. And I'm gonna just tell you right now that the problem I see with this is that someone is not focused. Naturally, when you're not focused, you can't put the energy in to what it is that you need to be focused on. We got this Rising Star energy here that I'm about to look into. But we talking about goals today. And we also talking about your goals, not just goals, but your goals. So I just want to know, have anybody here thought about their goals? How often do you revise your goals? Also, relationships. Do you operate your relationships the same way? Because how I feel, I don't know, it's a little bit unconventional, but I feel like marriage, right? Once you get that marriage license, it's a done deal. It's valid until it's not valid. You know what I'm saying? But how I feel about it, I feel like all relationships should be reevaluated pretty much like every quarter or every year, how often you feel like it's necessary. I don't feel like people should be tied into long contracts like that, especially when we're talking about spirituality. It's much different from the 3D world. You know what I'm saying? Rising Star. But that's just my belief. You know what I'm saying? When laws are changed and the government tries to change some things, it goes against what society thinks and it causes a big uproar. And you can't please everybody, right? So first of all, I'm not even a political person like that. And that's why. Because I just can't. It just goes against. So what's a Rising Star? We got the Ace of Swords. So this is the truth. Whatever is about to be spoken is the truth. We got this Rising Star energy here. So some of you may be like rising stars, but you actually don't know it because you haven't really tapped in, used your intuition and things like that. Or this is just something that is lacking. So I'm not saying that a person is not using their intuition at all, but the full scope of the intuition is what I'm talking about. We got this Ace of Cups here is repressed, holding back. All right. So definitely someone has been holding back from something that they know that they should have been doing. Ooh, excuse me. So it kind of brings me back to that energy of what that card says. It says, I don't care what it takes, how long it takes, who I upset. I'm cutting the strings and taking my life back. So this is definitely somebody in the energy. You could be somebody else in your energy that is not performing at 100% and they know it, right? So with that being said, this is the reason why my messages are so raw and so just straightforward, right? Because you literally have to cut through the BS. You have to cut through the confusion. You have to use that sword, that Ace of Swords, and you have to get to the real truth of the matter. And the truth of the matter is somebody here is just holding back, right? So when these messages comes out, I just have to give it. So somebody is holding back. Maybe somebody is not receiving a lot, or it's really a mindset, honestly, because it's energy. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like you're not receiving enough, or well, maybe it's because you're not giving enough. The only way you can fulfill those energies, or to even know how to fulfill a energy, you have to get in that energy and resonate with it. That makes sense. Knight of Cups in reverse. It's in reverse. Both the cups is in reverse. The bottom of the deck is the Emperor in reverse. So we definitely talking about a masculine energy here that could be a father. So what's the Knight of Cups reverse? Maybe somebody is a rising star around you. The Eight of Wands. So there's a need to take some sort of action to do something. It's real easy to sit around and wait for other people to do something. But you know what's even better, and what would make it better is if you just do it yourself. Not saying all the time, but this is somebody here who like to, well, this is the Hangman here. So if the truth is that someone is holding back, they're not coming in with an offer, their emotions is not in it. So that's 2 cups right there. There's some action that need to be taken, and then we got the Hangman. This is definitely saying someone needs to actually take some sort of action and do something. Let's see what's going on here. Because I feel like someone wants to move, wants to do something, but it's you talk yourself out of it all the time. 7 of Cups in reverse. That talks about a lot of illusions or a lot of choices. And this is where that sword needs to be used. Swords talk about clarity and discernment and the truth. All right. Swords is also air energy, so it's given up in the sky, just maybe on cloud 9 a little bit too long. Definitely coming down to ground yourself, because if who I'm speaking to is a Emperor in reverse and a King of Pentacles, well, then you're really not operating from a true King of Pentacles standpoint. You need to be operating under King of Pentacles in the upright, not the reverse. So here there's too many options, and then someone is possibly concerned about finances, even some sort of abundance. The Knight of Pentacles, that's like a slow moving energy, or this is somebody who is diligent and pays attention to their work. Take your time because you want to get things right. The only thing about that is it can turn into devil energy really quick because of perfectionism. Perfectionism, there's nothing wrong with wanting things to appear to look great, but when we have this energy out here that says that comparison with others distract you from your own path, and inequality in resources creates tension, this is given like somebody is, and we hear the horn beeping, somebody is concerned about how their pockets look to someone else. Maintains a facade and guard your privacy with care. Keeping secrets might protect you for a while, but they won't last. So this is a situation where it's not lasting, and it's really starting to show, right? So those things that you used to do, it's not working no more. You have to do something different. All right? Because if you keep doing the same thing that you always was doing that wasn't getting you no result, what's the definition of that, right? And here we got greed. So I don't know. To me, it sounds a little toxic. It's devil energy, and I'm not going to hold you, right? I'm going to let you know. I'm going to give it to you straight. That's devil energy. Is toxic. It needs to be released. It needs to be let go. A lot of times people don't really realize how sensitive the energy is. And it's like any little bit, you might not even be thinking about it. But that's the thing. That's why we have a conscious mind and unconscious mind, because there's things that's in the forefront of your mind and there's things that's in the back of your mind. And people who see you, a lot of times these people that you don't know or do know, they know how to pick up on both of those things. So a person don't necessarily have to know you in order to know that something just was just a little off, right? Knight of Pentacles, right? So slow moving energy. We also got the Knight of Swords. That's like two conflicting energies. One of them is moving fast and the other one is moving slow. It's given the brain is moving fast, or the brain is moving fast, but the money is moving slow. You wanting to move faster than what you actually can move at this time. So you have to slow yourself down. It's no other way around it. I talked about these things before. I talked about Ponzi schemes, get rich quick type things and like that. But eventually people get caught up for the things that they do. It's not good to always get things fast because you have a quicker falling if it goes fast. It's okay to invest in things like pop-up shops. That's quick money real quick, right? But most of the times those people have products to sell. Those people keep those products in their house for long periods of time until the next pop-up. And some people just don't have the patience or the time for any of that type of stuff, right? And so that's good for that, right? But when we're talking about quick and fast and you're dealing with people that you love, investments, there's no way around it. You just can't do that. So this is a situation involving 4 of Wands. It could be a relationship, it could be a family, I don't know. It's something like that. This is a situation definitely where somebody's mind is moving way faster than what their actual body can move. So now you have to tell yours to slow down. All right, you got to actually slow yourself down. Don't rely on nobody else for the help. This is all you, right? Because what I was explaining in my last video is that nobody owes anybody anything. So we shouldn't continue perpetuating that negative energy that keeps us in a distorted form to have us not receiving our blessings that we need to receive, reaching our goals, having the relationships that we need to have, right? And having communication problems, because now we got retrograde in Cancer that's coming up. And so these is really going to affect people who haven't addressed their feelings about things, or people who are born in the month of June and July. Let's see. So it's going to be definitely a turning point. So what about the 4 of Wands though? Could be a situation involving family. We definitely have relationships out here. So either way it go, somebody is a starseed. So it's about the 7 of Pentacles, right? Planting the seeds. So wanting to plant seeds, but not really having the resources, the money, the time, whatever it is. And then there's also this energy of taking over or being greedy. It's really giving distorted. So I don't know what this situation is, but the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse. My thing about it is when you rely too heavily on other people, it puts pressure on the other person as well. And it throws other people off. That's not actually what God wants for us. I don't even know if everybody believes in that or not, in this or not, but it's just like God definitely wants us to just use our own gifts and just be more connected. All right, so what's abundance here? Because this is how we get to the abundance. And I know people are like, well, I've been doing this for so long. Listen, I definitely understand. Because when you lose something, you feel like, damn, like I was on the right track. But you got to think about how you got that. How did it come to you, right? So if you were in negative karmic, I don't know what I was about to say. If you were in negative karmic energy while building your business or trying to build a family or any of those things, let's say you moved on to a new relationship, right? Y'all was together for a while. Y'all decided, hey, we want to be together and all the good things. But behind closed doors, your partner feel like you weren't being all the way honest, but you was showing up all the time. But behind closed doors, as long as she or he don't know that you were cheating, then you just gonna let it ride, right? And they don't complain about it. So that's giving you 2 thumbs up. That's an unstable foundation. And that's how we set ourselves up for failure every time. A lot of younger people don't get it. It takes until you get older. And then even then you're like, well, I've been doing it this way for so long. And that's why they say older people don't really like to change. But change is constant. So we constantly have to change, be in the energy to change. Because if not, then we just get left behind. You just get left behind. And that's just that. And like I said, nobody owes anybody anything. So when you start having these awakenings and you start gaining this clarity and using that sword, and you start thinking like, wow, this is the Page of Swords. I really see things more clearly now. And so now you feel like you have the resources and the tools that you need. You don't need that other person to help you do this. That would be easier, but you need to, God want to know, how bad do you want it? And do you have faith in me? Are you going to allow yours to use me, God, right, to work in your life? And I don't even know if everybody believes that, because my thing is, if you say you don't believe in a tarot reader, or you don't believe in somebody who's a channeler, that's just like the people who stoned Jesus. And let's be real. I don't have time to sit up here and argue with people and what we believe in and all of that stuff. It's out the window. If I got to do a whole video devoted toward quoting some stuff, I will. But I've been to college. I know how to quote my sources, MLA, style, anything else. We got the Page of Swords here. We got the Eight of Swords that's in reverse. This is coming out of some sort of mental entrapment, all right? You coming out, you starting to put away all of those things that were stressing you out of your mind. Maybe this feeling of always wanting to take over or being greedy or something like that is you realizing that that's not really getting you nowhere, and you have to really put those kinds of things down, because stuff is quite fucked up for you right now. What's the Eight of Swords reverse? Listen, Three of Cups that's in reverse. This is definitely, I don't know if that's somebody gossiping or somebody doing some sort of ritual or something like that. Because we do have a King of Wands in reverse. This is a masculine energy who's not really doing that great financially. Maybe this could be a money ritual, but the Judgment is in reverse. So whoever needed to hear that. This is Three of Cups reverse. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but hey, I'm just the messenger. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse just came out. It was just sitting at the bottom of the deck, but now it's coming out. So with that Judgment, it's just an underlying tone of, it's a little bit of overindulgence here. And that needs to be shifted and changed, right? Because you can't ask God for something. Let's just use Christians, for example. Christians go to church every Sunday, very devoted, very adamant, right? You might even be in the choir. You might even serve at Mass on Sunday or something like that. But thing about it is, what do you do outside of that, right? Because we can go to pastors, we can go to Jesus even, but what relationship do you personally have with God? Four of Pentacles reverse. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, y'all. So the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Yikes. So definitely giving imbalance financially. And it's because of riding someone else's coattail, basically getting the energy from somebody else. See, you never know how well other people are doing in life. Anybody who we deal with, even talking to on a day-to-day basis, affects that person's energy. So if someone is giving you that attention, you're in that person's energy. Now it's affecting. This is why we have to be careful. And this is why shifts are happening. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's happening in life? I'm about to attack this person. I'm attacking that person because they attacking me. And that's not exactly what's going on. God said what he said. And he said, listen, these planets is shifting. All right. The stars is going to be aligning, and the planets is too. And I said, listen, because y'all going to get it together, and y'all going to learn how to use your own minds to do this, to do that. We already have fast food. Everything is fast. That takes the brain work out of a lot of things. And now there's AI. My perspective is starting to change about AI. It really was already there. It's just getting stronger. I just knew it was going to be a problem for people, but I personally like it, but I just know it's a problem. Commitment. So somebody wants to plan for a commitment, and it's nothing wrong with that. But the problem here is that when you try to force something on other people, when you want to get in that person's energy, be respectful, right? I had somebody come up to me and say, can I get your number? And as nice as it sounded, it's just like, no, I can take your number though. You know what I'm saying? What happened to that? Give me your business card. You know what I'm saying? It's a no, because we're not doing that. What's the Two of Wands here? You definitely have to respect people's boundaries. Can I get your number? It's a no. That's you asking me, can you call me anytime or text me anytime? And it's a no. We haven't even had that much of a conversation for you to be asking that. So Two of Wands here. Temperance is in reverse, very unbalanced energy, right? So you can't plan something. We got this commitment energy. You can keep that as a manifestation, but you definitely want to get these things in check, right? Five of Pentacles is asking for help. Oh, ignoring help and not getting it. I don't think it's that. I think what it really is that you've asked for help before and you didn't do the right thing with it, is what I'm hearing. Five of Pentacles reverse, Queen of Swords. So someone could be speaking about this. It could be some sort of reader that's telling you about it, what's going on with your money, with your love life, your relationships, your goals. Maybe she's telling you in order to protect yourself, then what you have to do that. Yeah, because Magician is in reverse. I don't know. So I ain't gonna lie. It look like the judgment cannot be, something can't be awarded to somebody until they come out of this Magician and reverse energy. That's just what it is, right? So constantly getting in the energy to throw magic at people, or the siphon energy. We say these terms just loosely, but just all the gossiping, any kind of gossiping, whether you're saying something negative about somebody, you're having a conversation with somebody else about somebody, you have to be aware of those energies, because that's a certain energy. You have to think of what energy you're in. Magician in reverse is given, let me try to see what I can work, what my hand looking like, and how I'm about to lay it down, and I'm about to lie to all these people. Or maybe this is something that did happen in the past, but you just have to really be honest with yourself, honestly. And I know some people don't want to, because ego takes over. Even I can attest to that myself. Not being responsible for the things that we think and we say, especially behind closed doors, because a lot of times people won't come to you and they won't say nothing. But when certain things happen to a person, or once you do something to somebody and something negatively affects them, people think like, oh, well, they'll be able to handle it. They don't need all that anyways, or that. And God recognizes all that. And all of that is being accounted for. And nobody is the judge of other people. And so this is just God's way of reminding you, listen, you got to sit down and you got to take accountability for the things that you did to hurt another person, whether that person treated you nice or not. Because you don't know what that person had to go through or what they were dealing with, because maybe you didn't care at the time. But that's not your responsibility. We're talking about self. Your responsibility is to deal with you, not you deal with them. That's where you put the boundary up at. So if I can't deal with you in a way that is conducive for both of us, then we probably don't need to be around each other. And that's fine. But to go and be trying to belittle somebody, talk about somebody, to tear somebody's character, step on their name, and defamation and all of that kind of stuff, that's not right. And people can pick up on that. So when these types of things happen, you got to ask yourself, man, what part did I play in all of this? What role did I play? And then Mercury retrograde coming up. A lot of times we be sitting in these negative energies and we don't even realize how vulnerable we are to negative entities and energies. The moment that negative energy hits you, boom, all somebody got to do is do a little bit of spell work, and you doing things now that you wouldn't even imagine yourself doing in a million years. And so the only way to be able to upgrade and elevate yourself is to start changing your ways and showing God actively that you about that work. All right. So that's what I have for y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Make sure you do what God told you to do, and I'm going to do what God told me to do. And until next time, peace.